Hey, welcome to another episode of PW Farrell's Bass Lessons. I tried filming this using all the audio from my studio, but there's something going on with my copy of Cubase, or I think it's my system. It keeps crashing when I'm trying to multi-track for any length of time, so unfortunately I'm just going to have to use the camera audio. I could try syncing little snippets of the studio stuff, but I can't be bothered. First of all, I've been meaning to say this since I started this channel. You can actually find out what it is I do. I'm very lucky. I get to do some cool stuff. Last year I played in Kolkata at the International Guitar Festival, and I played with some of India's amazing musicians. And I played with a guy here in Australia called Bart Stenhouse. It was his tour, and we went over there and played over there. I get to tour around Australia occasionally with some amazing players, and mainly I just slog it out. I'm very, very lucky I get to play with some great players here in Brisbane, Australia. So all that stuff, you can see my daily goings-on, including pictures of my dog, on my Instagram. That's actually way better for keeping track of who I actually am and what it is I do than YouTube is. So that's P_W_Farrell, PW Farrell on Instagram. Now this lesson, I've actually filmed this a few times because I'm trying to keep my word count down and really get to the nuts and bolts of this subject, but it's hard because it's a big subject. I've got a student who's going through a really interesting time at the moment where she's starting to get her head around musical theory, modes, key centers, and she was just asking me, okay, so chameleons in B flat minor 7 up to E flat 7, okay, but I read a book that said that means chameleon is in the key of A flat major. That's not true. Chameleon's in the key of B flat minor. Unfortunately, musical notation and standardized theory concepts haven't really kept up with harmonic tastes. So key signatures that you see written in classical music notation, where you have, the clef, the key signature, the time signature, the staff, that's pretty much just referring to whether it's a major or a minor tonic. It's not going to tell you the mode. Now this is something where even professional musicians get this wrong. I get given charts all the time where people will have written some weird key signature in to try to show me what mode they mean. That's not standardized music theory. If you're playing in musical theatre and there's a song that closely resembles I Wish by Stevie Wonder, for example, it won't have the E flat Dorian sort of mode written in with some crazy key signature. It'll just have the key signature of E flat minor. But the song is in E flat Dorian, and they'll be using chord symbols and accidentals that reflect that throughout. So in that context, they'd be using, in that context, it's a C natural instead of a C flat, right? That's where it gets a bit crazy. But so let's talk about that for a minute. First of all, that concept alone is a pretty good one. Actually, the music theory there really is good because it's talking about trying to not get too smart. Just use your ears and think of the tonic, what feels like home, rather than trying to overcomplicate it. So let's take Chameleon, okay? Chameleon, the melody of Chameleon goes like this. Yeah? That's the bulk of the melody. Okay, the chords. Oh, the root note. Obviously then, B flat is home. Okay? Obviously that's home. So this song is in the key of B flat minor. A flat's got nothing to do with it. Yeah, the A flat Ionian scale will work on that. But the key is B flat minor. Right? And that's where, you know, classical musicians writing books on jazz theory, the Ionian scale, the natural major scale, does not have any sort of authority. What gives something its key is the structure of the harmony, the melody, what feels like you could land on, you could stay there, you could say that's the home chord. And so not in every song does that mean that it's the chord you play the most. There's some interesting concepts here. I'll show you something. You can have a whole bunch of minor chords all function super easily as the one chord, okay? Let's take, for example, some bass lines, okay? Take, for example, that Jamiroquai song, Love Philosophy, okay? Chords are minor one chord, B flat minor, yeah? Up to E minor, yeah? C major, to back to B minor, that's the verse, okay? So, if you're just looking at the chords, the melody, there is a bit of poetry there. For moments of bars, it changes to different types of minor modes. But in terms of root movement, you could say that that's a Phrygian minor. Okay, so we've got 1, E minor, 4 chord, flat 2 or flat 9, 1, B minor, E minor, back to the 1. So there's no doubt that B is the home, right? Even though it's not a normal minor, B is home. Yeah? Okay, so that's one example of a minor mode that's home, that's not the natural minor. But the key signature would be the same as the natural minor, right? Then you just use accidentals and chords to change that. How do I know? How do I know as soon as I see those chords, B minor, E minor, C, back to B minor, how do I know that I'm dealing with B Phrygian? Because I've gone through the modes enough that I know I recognize when chords are from the same system. Because I recognize they're from the same system, I know that the tonic chord has a certain sound, even if all the information isn't written there. So you could write more than B minor for that Jamiroquai song. If the actual Jamiroquai song has a bit more poetry because the melody goes in and out of this chord. But just in terms of those chords, if I wanted a true Phrygian sound all the way through, I could give way more information with the chord symbol. I could call it like a B flat, sus flat 9, right? That would be the standard sort of thing. But they don't want that. They want you to think of it as a minor. To a 4 minor, to a flat 2. Okay? Another example. Again, like Chameleon, there's so many songs that do this. Chameleon, I Wish, the start of Cold Duck Time, all these tunes where they go a minor 7 chord as the one chord. Okay? Let's go down to Chameleon, so down a tone, semitone. B flat minor 7. Okay? Up to a dominant 7, but as the 4 chord. So in this case, B flat minor 7 up to E flat 7. So in this case, we're using a Dorian, but it's still home. Okay? So the mode. But undeniably, that B flat is home, okay? Yeah, technically you could say both these chords fit the A flat major system, but they fit the A flat major system as much as they fit the G Locrian system. You know what I mean? So what matters is your ears. The melody on top. B flat is home. It's some kind of B flat. What sort of third does it have? Does it have a major third? No, it has a minor third. So it's a B flat minor of some sort. The key is B flat minor. Alright? check it out. There's songs that go between types of minors. So, Master Blaster. So C minor, B flat, A flat to F7. Now with practice, you learn to see the patterns of all these chords. So if someone gave me a chart and it said C minor, B flat, A flat, I go, ching, 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 okay, those 3 chords, they come from the same system, I know what each one of them really is. The first one's Aeolian, second one's mixed Lydian, third one's Lydian, okay? That's from practice. Then as soon as you see that dominant 4 chord, F7, I know it's just like chameleon. We're actually changing to like a C Dorian vibe, just for that one chord, okay? So the point is, what is the point? The point is that you think about written music, notated music, it just tells you some kind of major, some kind of minor. It's not strictly saying it's Aeolian, it's not strictly saying it's Ionian. The song will tell you that. And that's how you need to think as well. You see the chord symbol, but then you see the context, and both those things will tell you what's really going on. I want to give you one last example, and this is one that's very interesting. Actually, no, I don't want this to be the last example, because I want to talk about why I think this happens. Let's look at a song that constantly bashes out a certain chord, and yet I don't really think that that's the key of the song, okay? The song's called Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. The first chord is an F major 7. If you dig deeper and you look at the melody, it's actually an F major 7 sharp 11. It's like an F Lydian vibe. So in Dreams, we've got, sharp 11, or just an F major 7, going to G7, or because it's singer-songwriter land, right? They're not going to give you all those extensions. They're probably just going to say F to G. Okay. That F never feel like home? To me it doesn't. It feels like home, but in an emotive way, in a floating kind of way that suits the vibe of the song, suits the Lydian vibe. But in Dreams, we eventually go to the bridge, which touches on A minor for a minute. So it goes, I'm not playing the melody, I'm just noodling, right? So F, that A minor, right? Okay. The thing about Dreams is you could just as easily end the song with that A minor. You could go, and it wouldn't sound unresolved. You could also end Dreams on C major, right? You could go, why? Because we're actually in the Lydian system there. It's not like we're just adding the sharp 11 onto a tonic chord. We're in the Lydian system, and the Lydian system has a raised 4th. And I think a big reason why minors tonicize so easily is because of that perfect 4th and the perfect 5th that are in the scale. When you have that structure, because musical harmony is like architecture, right? You have certain pillars that set up your surroundings. If you think of Lydian, it's a major scale, right? But instead of a normal perfect 4th, it has a raised 4th. Sorry. Okay, sharp 11. Now, it's a beautiful sound. Okay, it's a beautiful sound. But it's such a strong sound, a strong sort of transitional sound, that even though Dreams, the song, is pounding through F the whole time, I still hear it as being the 4 chord to the 5 chord. 4, 5. If I was talking to someone about the song Dreams, I would say it's in the key of C, but it stays on the Lydian. That's how I would say it. I'd say, oh bro, you want to play Dreams? Cool. C major, but it's actually in the Lydian, F Lydian. It's like, or I might even say just 4 chord to 5 chord the whole time, right? The reason why I say it like that is because, for me, I mean, I'm a bit of an OCD freak, and I think it's important to do music justice, but because there's a big difference between that kind of Lydian versus a Lydian colouring chord for a tonic chord. So, for example, in jazzland, people will often use Lydian as the 1 chord, but the difference is that it's surrounded by perfect 4th structural harmony. So, let's take, for example, if we were playing a song in the key of F major, and we went a classic, you know, like a jazz device, G minor 7, okay, up to C7, to the F. Now, a lot of people will colour that with a sharp 11. Alright? So they might go G minor 7, to the C7, yeah? And then they'll go to the F. But the point is that the surrounding chords, the context, has given you the perfect 4th. That's how my brain and ears speak this language, at least. So, what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is 2 lessons. Musos, please stop trying to invent new key signatures. The only key signatures that are codified in Western notated harmony are major and minor, right? That's the system, right? And then we just got to make do with it. The other thing is, in terms of modes and keys, you can have multiple modes be tonic modes. You don't have to reduce the song to some unrelated tonal center just because technically it's from that system. The whole point of understanding your modes and chords is that all 7 modes of the standard systems are equal, and all the, you know, whatever other system we're in, 6 or whatever of the symmetrical systems, all these things are equal, right? What matters is your ears and what truly sounds like home. Anyway, hope that made sense. Follow me on Instagram, PW_Farrell, P_W_Farrell. My new album's coming out in 2017, by the way. I'm smashing it. Alright, peace.